So they just posted a tweet as we're live right now and said, "Is Michigan State good enough to compete for the Big Ten title now?" Now that was not the topic that we were discussing on this show.
Get y'all fishing for clicks, man.
But we're going to discuss it now because the definitive answer is that the Purdue Boilermakers are going to win the Big Ten championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think Michigan State's going to really compete for it.
All right, Sean, let's relax.
I mean, they're good. They're top 25, but I don't think they're better than Michigan at the end of the day. Don't think they're better than Illinois. I'm thinking
Michigan doesn't even have a number next to their name right now. It just says Michigan playing.
Rankings don't matter. Michigan's going to get it going. They've looked better recently. Caleb Houston's finding his jumper.
Yeah. Rankings where we rank how we feel teams will be, not what they've done in the past week.
Colorado State's still not ranked, by the way. I mean,
oh my gosh, Sean, let it go, man. We're talking about the Big Ten, but no, Purdue's on another level.
No, let me jump in. Michigan State is good enough to compete.
Yes,
in the Big Ten and for the Big Ten championship. But man, I just cannot see a world where Zach Edey, Travion Williams, Stefanovic first, of course, a lottery pick in Jaden Ivey. Do you see a world where one? Is Purdue going to lose a game in Mackey this year? I'd say probably not. Maybe one time. And they're the best team in this league. If they defend even half as good as some of the teams in the Big Ten, they're going to win the Big Ten. And you know what? It's not a slight against Michigan State as much as it is the reality of the situation. Could Michigan State beat Purdue? It's college basketball. Yeah, on a given day, they could. They could beat Purdue. There's a difference between best team on a day and who the best team is over the course of 3 months. And I'm not going to sit here and start saying that Purdue's not going to win the Big Ten. Let's call spade a spade. If the Purdue Boilermakers didn't win the Big Ten, it'd be a major disappointment for Matt Painter's program.
That team has too much talent not to.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing about Purdue is, let's say Zach Edey's having an off night. You bring in a Travion Williams. Let's say I don't know, Stefanovic is having a bad shooting night. You bring in a guy like Newman to knock down some shots. Like, this team just has so many weapons, and you just have a team that literally a perfect equation right now of a bunch of guys playing their role and excelling in their roles. And then at the end of the day, you can talk all you want, but Jaden Ivey is the most dynamic player in college basketball right now. Literally, when I watch him play basketball, it's like watching John Morant play, to be honest. He's on another level. For all the doubters who said he wasn't going to take his little sophomore year jump, he's literally taken a jump, and I think doing even a little bit more of what people thought he was going to do. So they're doing amazing. They are the Big Ten favorite right now. If I had to pick somebody to win the Big Ten, it would be them. And honestly, I would hate to say it, but I think they're going to win the Big Ten pretty comfortably. I don't think it's going to be a battle, to be honest. And I think, Painter and the boys are going to get it done. They're playing real good basketball right now.
Here's one thing with Purdue. They didn't add any transfers this offseason. They're typically not a big transfer school. They had Jahad Proctor a few years ago, but they're usually a development program like we've seen plenty of times. Isaac Haas, Zach Edey now, Travion Williams. They usually develop their guys. I think it's pretty interesting to see how successful they've been early in the season with all their guys knowing each other and all that. I definitely think they're the best team in the country right now, but when it comes down to it, I think their early season success is in big part because they don't have guys trying to learn each other's style and how they play because of the transfers. Like, we've seen that occasionally with schools that add a bunch of transfers. It takes time for them to gel. That didn't have to happen for Purdue. Everybody returned. Caleb First is new, but everybody else returned from last year except for Aaron Wheeler. That was the only loss.
Yeah, speaks volumes. And I think that what happens at the top of the Big Ten after Purdue is fascinating. I think Michigan State could be number 2 in the Big Ten. I think Ohio State could be number 2. I think on their best day, I still believe that the Illinois Fighting Illini are going to be number 2 in the Big Ten, no worse than 3 or 4.
I'm going Michigan.
Yeah, I'll go Michigan too. I think that Michigan has the pieces. They just are one of those teams, like Sean just mentioned, they have a lot of new pieces. They got to figure it out.
What about their backcourt?
I've seen enough Devontae Jones to kind of put in the same conversation as I had about Tyson Walker earlier. sometimes these mid-major guards going up take time to get going. I think that's kind of what we're seeing with Devontae Jones. Like, he was too good last year at Coastal Carolina, and he made big-time impact plays. He was good at the G League Elite Camp. I don't think he's just going to be like kind of an okay player. I think he's really going to get it going here as we get into conference play.
So who's better, Michigan or Michigan State?
Michigan.
Michigan State. Right now, Michigan State is better.
Right now, probably, yeah. But if we're talking 2 months from now, give me Michigan.
Okay, well, I don't really like I don't got a crystal ball here to look into the future. I'm talking about right in this moment on After Dark right now. Michigan State is the better basketball team.
Right.
That's fair, but that's fair.
That's true. But I do want to say, Sean, to your point with Devontae Jones, I think it's a lot of fixable things with him. Like, it's things that he's being hesitant. Like, you have moments where he's passing up open threes, like he's just a bad 3-point shooter, or just doing like very odd fouls, like 90 feet from the basket, that just kind of throw the flow off and get him in foul trouble. I think it's a lot of fixable things. I think Jawan and the coaching staff there, that's something they can kind of get it together. There's a lot of fixable things with this Michigan team. Now, they can't wait too long. Big Ten play is here, so you got to get it going. But I think they're taking steps towards fixing that, and I'm not really worried about Devontae Jones. I think he's going to get together. Like you said, Sean, at Coastal Carolina last year, we saw what he could do. G League Combine saw it too. I'm not worried about him.
So